I have so much respect for Stephen Sondheim, so it's kind of like, how do I make fun of Stephen Sondheim? Like, that doesn't even seem right. But you sort of search for the ways to find the funny. And I'm never with this show am I ever worried about finding the funny, because we have our cast and all the writers and everybody. I feel like we can always find it somewhere.
Hey, thank you so much for your time. This is great to talk to you.
Of course.
My first question for you is a nerdy one, which is, how do you approach writing the songs into each episode? Are you writing the script toward a musical moment, or are you writing a musical moment based on what you're doing in the script?
I mean, it's a little bit of both, usually. I mean, I will confess that before we start the writer's room, I have a basic outline of the season in my head, and a lot of that involves songs. There are specific songs, like I wrote Kaput before the writer's room started because I knew I wanted to have that sort of song. And I wrote Doorway to Where, Aaron's first song. Those were the first two songs I wrote before the writer's room even started. So in some ways, the tail wags the dog a bit, and because I know there's some songs I really want to get in there. But then I try to let the story flow. And then as we're working out the story beats, I'll say like, this is the perfect opportunity then to do this type of song.
This season is so much fun. And, you're going with Chicago and all these musicals from this era, but it begs the question, how long until we get Schmamilton? And are there other shows that you love and would like to take on in this kind of style?
I mean, Schmamilton would be like season 5, maybe, if we ever got that far. But yeah, I mean, there's just sort of a natural progression, right? By like every couple decades in musical theater, things seem to change up. And this was such a stark contrast, right, between the 40s and 50s and the 60s and 70s. It was the most obvious of choices.
Clearly this show is chock full of like Broadway legends, like Alan Cumming, Kristen Chenoweth. Are there others, kind of to the last question, like that you would love to work with on a future season, like Nathan Lane or Indina Menzel, someone like that?
Oh my gosh. I love musical theater. I love Broadway. There's so many people I would love to work with, I mean, especially when I think about, your Mandy Patinkins and your Bernadette Peters and, Patti LuPone. I would like a dream come true, right? To work with people like that. That would be amazing.
I would love to know about how you choose the actors that for these roles that you're writing, because this season you have a lot of people like Jaime and Alan Cumming who have been in the musicals that you're kind of on, but you're making a choice not to put them in those comparative characters in a way.
Yeah, you don't want them to just do something they've already done, right? There's no fun in that for them and not really for us. And yeah, who wouldn't want to see Sweeney Todd with Kristen Chenoweth and Alan Cumming as the two leads? It's sort of like, it's such a fun game to play, to like, I have this amazing cast. You get to be this, you get to be this. I get to cast them in all these shows. It's really fun, and it's fun for them. Aaron never has gotten to do Pippin. He's never gotten to do Godspell or Jesus Christ Superstar, and so this is kind of his chance to do that in a way.
This season is amazing. I was wondering, is it harder to be funny when writing songs in the style of these more serious musicals? It
depends on if you choose the moment. Like obviously Epiphany is a very serious song from Sweeney Todd, right? Yeah. But but it also gives you ripe territory for comedy because it is so serious, right? So it's easy to sort of poke at it and deflate it a bit. But it is sort of, sometimes it is, I have so much respect for Stephen Sondheim, so it's kind of like, how do I make fun of Stephen Sondheim? Like, that doesn't even seem right. But you sort of search for the ways to find the funny. And I'm never with this show am I ever worried about finding the funny, because we have our cast and all the writers and everybody. I feel like we can always find it somewhere.
Thank you so much. I think that's my time. But I'm such a fan of the show and this season. So congratulations.
Thank you, Owen.